So that is it for the Chandrayaan-1 mission. And now let us talk about Chandrayaan-2. All right. Now, Chandrayaan-2 was launched on 22nd July 2019, and what happened is that this mission was actually supposed to launch in, I believe, 2012. It was delayed by like around 7 years. Now it was
Yeah,
delayed.
that's correct.
Yeah, it was delayed because of a variety of reasons. There were some technical issues which required the date to be postponed, and also this mission was initially going to be in partnership with Russia. So basically, it entered the lunar orbit on 20th August, the same year, 2019, and on 6th September, during its descent to the surface, the contact with the lander was lost after it crash landed, right? So there were some problems with the lander which caused it to crash land on the moon, and it
You
resulted
know,
in damage to the rover and the lander. And according to the chairman at the time, when the lander was about 2.1 kilometers above the surface, it started deviating from the intended trajectory. So what happened is that the lander, it was following the trajectory that it was meant to until 2.1 kilometers above the surface. After that, it did not follow the trajectory that it was supposed to, which was because of an increase in its velocity. Okay, that's what caused it to land in a very harsh way. And 4 years later, S. Somanath, who is the ISRO chairman, he revealed that there are three major reasons for the failure of Chandrayaan-2. So one of the reasons was the presence of five engines, which generated a higher thrust, which made the errors accumulate over time. And the lander was unable to turn very fast because it was not expected to perform at such high pace turning. So, so what happened is that because of the miscalculation in the firing of the five engines, uh, the lander was obviously not following its intended trajectory. So even then, everyone working at ISRO, they tried to correct the trajectory, but the thing is that the lander was not it was not designed to turn that quickly, and we weren't able to get it to the intended path again. So that was another problem that we had. And the final major reason for this was the small 500-meter by 500-meter landing site, which was chosen for the lander to land on. Now, because of such a small landing site, it is hard for the lander to land exactly in the site. So there is less room for error. Now, obviously, because it deviated from its path, it did not land in that area, in that landing site which it was supposed to land. And because of that, it might have crashed into some rough surface, which also led to further damage, right? So that was why the Chandrayaan 2 mission failed, and this is why the lander was not able to land in the way it was supposed to. All right. So does anyone have
yes.
any doubts?
No, sir.
All right. So even though Chandrayaan 2 was definitely a failure, it was also a partial success because even though the Chandrayaan 2 lander crashed, the orbiter, it is still functioning, and it will continue to communicate with the Chandrayaan 3 lander, right? So ISRO is and because of this, what ISRO is doing is that it is using the Chandrayaan 2 orbiter, which is still in function. It is using that Chandrayaan 2 orbiter as a backup communication link with its Chandrayaan 3 Vikram lander. Okay, so in case the communication systems on board on the Vikram lander fail, we have the Chandrayaan 2's orbiter, which can act as a backup communication link. All right, that is one way in which Chandrayaan 2 is still helping us in the Chandrayaan 3 mission. So it was technically not a 100% failure. It did have some success in it, and it is helping us in to some extent.